what I could do to use my voice and be more effective in using it as an agent for change. How social media can be used as something that can affect change not only within our communities, but in our society as a whole. There were a lot of times that I felt powerless. When I spoke, I didn't feel like people were listening, especially because I was so different from them. And words can be used to build a movement, and how important it is for equitable treatment to be the norm across gender, race, and sexual identity. And no one should be treated differently just for who they are. One voice, that's all it takes to make a difference. Hi, my name is Elizabeth LEIBA, and I've been a college professor for the past 10 years. In the past year, I started co-hosting a higher education podcast where we talk to higher education leaders all over the country about the issues that are affecting colleges and universities today, such as COVID-19, the pivot to online learning, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a ton of fun, but after the George Floyd incident happened that rocked not only our country, but sent shockwaves across the world, I started to think about what I could do to use my voice and be more effective in using it as an agent for change. And one thing that I really learned and embraced as a lesson in the past year, and I want to share that with you, is that a hashtag can change the world. Social media is sometimes denigrated and downgraded as something that's frivolous. We see TikTok videos, we see Snapchat, we see Twitter, and some of these applications that we use to communicate and stay in touch and to express ourselves on social media platforms as sometimes a waste of time, as sometimes something that we shouldn't invest our energy in. But one thing I want to think about is how social media can be used as something that can affect change not only within our communities, but in our society as a whole. When you're young, sometimes you wonder if you can make a difference. I always felt that way. I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood on the east side of Fort Lauderdale, but I was actually born in the UK, in the city of London. And when I came to Florida as a 12-year-old, I didn't feel like I fit in. There were a lot of times that I felt powerless. When I spoke, I didn't feel like people were listening, especially because I was so different from them. But then I went to high school, and that was where I discovered the power of words. I stumbled into an intro to journalism class and started writing for my school newspaper. And I finally felt like my words had meaning and impact. As a writer, my whole world opened up and I was able to reflect on the world around me and make it make sense and express my opinion. And people actually listened. They really listened and they cared about what I had to say. So, as a writer, I learned that words are the currency of ideas. I've worked as a professional writer, and now, as a college professor, I teach students how to write. And most lately, I've been doing a lot of blogging and videos and podcasting about social justice issues. And words can be used to build a movement. We've seen that with the hashtag Black Lives Matter. We've seen that with hashtag Me Too. And recently, social justice warriors have used social media and other mediums to mobilize, to create change surrounding inequity, police brutality, and social justice in the wake of the murders of both George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. When I felt powerless about these events, I took to social media as well and started blogging and posting and educating those around me about social justice and how important it is for equitable treatment to be the norm across gender, race, and sexual identity. And no one should be treated differently just for who they are. Recently, in the past 2 weeks, I was featured in a New York Times article, and the article actually made the front page. It was about my stand on social media and how vocal I've been about social justice and inequity and things that need to change in our society. It was literally the proudest moment of my life because I stood up for what I believed in. But that wasn't easy. There were times that I was afraid to post certain posts or to highlight certain injustices that I witnessed, whether it's wage inequality or whether it's police brutality or whether that is disparities in wealth and income, hiring, promotion that happen with marginalized groups in our society. But I learned a lesson and embraced the opportunity and the ideal that I have to walk in my truth, and that sometimes that takes courage, but one voice, just like Nelson Mandela said, one voice, that's all it takes to make a difference. So with that being said, I want to encourage you to use your voice. Your words have power, and you can start a movement, you can educate your peers, and you can build bridges to understanding. Never underestimate that power. So, how do you do that? Well, use your platform. Whether it's social media, it could be maybe a blog that you start. It could even be a Twitter post, 140 characters, or maybe your school newspaper. You have a voice, and your voice can be a powerful tool to make the world of difference, to make change, and to create the society that we all can thrive and learn and grow together as an equitable society in. Remember that. Your voice can change the world.
Tell us what you think about this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.